Mayadhal daw, good day Buksuwans, the Philippines and the world. Welcome to Botanika Talks, a podcast series of Bukidnon State University. I am Dr. Leslie Casas Lubos, botanist, professor, and director of Buxus Botanical Gardens and Herbarium. Today's episode brings us into a unique and powerful space where art becomes a language of the environment and where the earth itself becomes the canvas. Our guest is one of Bukidnon's most celebrated cultural figures, Datu Rodelio Waway, Linsahay Saway, an internationally known artist from the Talaandig community of Songco, Lantapan, Bukidnon, Philippines. His soil paintings have been showcased in galleries, cultural spaces, and international art events, but beyond the canvas. His work is a powerful reminder of the ecological wisdom held by indigenous peoples. Through his art and music, Datu Waway teaches us how to protect and honor our environment. Datu Waway, it is an honor to have you here. Welcome to Botanika Talks.
Thank you for having me. Hello everyone, hello listeners around the world.
Thank you, Datu Waway. It is truly an honor to have you here. Datu Waway, you are known around the world for your soil paintings. What made you choose soil, something that comes from the earth, as your main material in creating art?
Actually, it is the poverty that pushed me to find alternative medium so that I can teach art in our community. Because when I was far away for a soul searching. So I met different artists in the different part of the country. And then I realized that I know and I love painting by just looking at the people who are doing it. And I was influenced by many artists. So back in Bohol with my friends, we experimented painting using a clay. Of course, with one color only. And then when I go back home after that long trip, so I decided to teach the young people in our village. But of course, I cannot teach them art. I cannot teach them painting because we are far from the city where we can easily buy those materials. So because I was painting with my friends in Bohol using clay, so I continue using the clay because I know that if I can teach art, not only visual, but of course, I teach them music and everything. I realized that when a person know how to be creative, then it helps develop their self-confidence. So that's why I thought painting is one way. So I developed the medium, not only using clay, but of course, using different colors of the soil.
That is deeply meaningful, Datu Saway. Choosing soil as your medium reminds us that art can grow from the very ground that sustains life. Your perspective shows how creativity becomes a form of honoring the land. Datu Waway, Your artworks reflect the identity of indigenous peoples. How do the plants, forests, and natural surroundings of the mountains influence the colors, the patterns, and stories in your art?
The patterns and stories is it's a given, no? Because of course I was born at Talaandig. I was born with the mountains of the Talaandig ancestral territory, and I saw how the elders, like the embroiderers, use the patterns to make a traditional dress. So that is one of my influence, and I know the history, the importance of the flora in the lives of the Talaandig. Not only Talaandig, but to the lives of the indigenous people. Like some of they say that of course the forest is their school, their pharmacy, the church and marketplace. So from that, the soil painting became a narrative of the cultural heritage, and of course, it, it's now becoming popular.
Mhm.
And I'm also teaching not only the indigenous people, but of course, all the people in Bukidnon that wanted to explore art. And it's very easy for them this time because I have this material, very cheap. You just go to the forest and
Mm.
go to the creeks or river banks, and then find some different colors of soil, and then you can use it for painting. Of course, I wanted them to realize and understand what is the importance of the soil. That of course in painting you can see the different colors of the soil, but of course deeper than that is people will slowly understand what is the relevance of soil to the lives of human, because as you see we can create beautiful paintings, but of course we have also to know that the most important part of the soil is the topsoil, that without the topsoil plant will not the food no the without the topsoil the food will not grow, like corn, rice, coffee, vegetables. It won't grow without the topsoil, and as what I have read in the some data, the topsoil of the world will last for 30 to 40 years. So given that our mountains now, we live in a slope, so every time that there is rain, most of the soil are carried away by the water through soil erosion, and it is collected to our river, the Pulang River, that destroys our turbines for our source of electricity. So over time, we will lose our topsoil, and soil painting is just a window so that people will understand the problem about soil erosion. So that's why we are introducing the soil painting so that people will appreciate the soil, the colors of the soil, and the importance of the soil.
Thank you, Dato, for sharing that. Your art beautifully reflects how nature shapes identity, memory, and culture among indigenous peoples. It teaches us that landscapes are not just scenery, they are teachers and keepers of wisdom. Datu Waway, many people find your art detailed and spiritual. When you create, how do you include the memories of nature like plants, soil, and forests into your artwork?
The nature's the nature is embedded in me. I live in the mountain when I was a child. with my mother. I could remember every weekend she puts me inside the basket to go to the river and wash our laundry. And then in the afternoon, uh, she put me inside the basket with the dried laundry with biscuits, and I sleep there. And then I woke up in the middle of the night. So nature is embedded in me. So when I think, it's always first the nature comes in. And my nature, my environment was full of birds, full of trees, full of mountains. So that's why you see my artwork is um, mostly spiritual. It's another realm for me. So that's the reason why my artworks is always connected with the environment.
That is truly enlightening, Datu Waway. Your process shows how art can preserve the spiritual memory of the forest, the soil, and the life itself. It reminds us that creativity is a way of keeping nature alive in the hearts of people. Datu Waway, as an international artist carrying indigenous knowledge, how do you share IP traditions with the world while also reminding people to care for nature and plant life?
You know, every time I go outside, like in the US, so I did workshops about traditional music because most of the Filipino American artists would like to know the roots, the Filipino roots, because roots is very important in creativity. Like, how could you invent something or create something that you don't know where is it coming from? So I need to tell them the root, like when I give them workshop about the two harp, the kubing playing. So I must tell them that the kubing is the sound of the kubing is from the hornbill,
Mhm.
so that they would understand the connection of the culture and the environment.
A powerful message, Datu Waway. You carry not only art, but the wisdom and responsibility of your people. Wherever you go, your voice bridges indigenous traditions with global conversations about protecting the earth. Datu Waway, you are also a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and singer. How does your music connect with nature, plants, or the environment? And how does it influence your artistic vision?
My songs, of course, it came from the wisdom of the elders. Like the song that I have, the Itatamo kay Atake Tumbi, it says that this, the forest is our school, our pharmacy, our church, and our marketplace.
Mhm.
But then, um, I need to really go to the ground and really do the collecting of the garbage, yeah, garbage collection, and then planting trees. Like I am helping one foundation for 7,000 hectares deforestation
Wow.
because I told myself I don't want to end up singing my song under a last standing tree because I realized that when I heard before the first time I heard a song about environment, and I wrote a song about environment. Imagine many songwriters ahead of me wrote songs about environment, and then many theater artists like Gama Penumbra, you see their show, you'll be crying because it's very touching, you know. And then of course, there are many artists who painted about the environment because I was a theater actor also, and I was also a filmmaker. So I realized that the people will not. Most of the people that heard my music didn't realize or understand the meaning of my song. So I need to go to the ground and then do that thing so people would follow me, because they are already following me, but they are following me through songwriting, through painting.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, I don't want to end up singing a beautiful song or painting a beautiful painting, or maybe having a art festival under the last standing dead tree or along the dried river. So it's very ironical. So that's why I'm really into uh, reforestation, because it's very critical, because Bukidnon is the heart of Mindanao, and it is where the four major mountains are situated. And then these four major mountains, the Kitanglad, Kalatungan, Salog, and Pantaron ranges, it's where the most of the rivers from Mindanao coming from. So it's a really big challenge for the Bukidnons to really protect the environment so that the people downstream will have water security, because it is it is in the future we don't want them to coming to the mountains and look for water. So we need to we need to act right now, and hoping that many people would join us doing uh, the clean up activity, the collecting of the garbage thrown in the creeks, and of course, to mitigate the climate change, we need to participate in every reforestation efforts.
That is beautifully expressed. Your music reflects the rhythm of mountains, winds, and living landscapes. It shows that nature is not only seen through art but also heard through the heartbeat of your melodies. Datu Waway, the Saway family is known for protecting the mountain of Bukidnon, Philippines. How has your family's love for the forest and native plants shaped the way you think and create as an artist?
Our family understood that if the nature dies, we die. And because we believe that, like for the music, for the arts, the source is environment. It would be a greatest crime if we let the environment die and culture dies with it. Because the environment is our teacher. If the environment is our teacher, our master, it tells us when to collect honey. It tells us when to hunt, because the trees gives us the sign. So if it dies, those species someday will disappear, so as the culture will also disappear. So it would be a greatest crime if we won't protect that.
Thank you for sharing that, Dato. The legacy of your family truly shows how cultural identity and environmental protection go hand in hand. Your creativity becomes a continuation of that sacred responsibility. Datu Waway, for researchers or visitors who want to study the mountains and forests, what is the proper way to seek permission from indigenous peoples before entering their ancestral lands?
The permission ritual is not just an ordinary permission ritual. It's a protocol that would introduce the researchers to the spirit of the mountains. The human cannot see the spirit, but of course, we believe in it. And of course, it's one way to protect the forest, like regulate the people who are coming up, because the imperfections would some people, like if they go to the mountain when they are tired, so that's where the imperfections begins. Like you cannot be honest anymore because you are tired. Like you can just hide your garbage under the trees. Of course, the ritual is just a merely ritual. It's actually a permission ritual to the unseen.
That is a very important reminder. Respect for indigenous protocols is respect for the land itself. Your guidance helps researchers and visitors understand that ancestral lands must be approached with humility and proper permission. Datu Waway, indigenous communities have rich music, rituals, and stories. How do these traditions reflect your people's deep connection with plants, healing herbs, and natural environment?
We believe that the earth is our flesh. The vines and the trees are veins and bones. The grasses are our hairs. The water is our blood. The air is our breath. And the sun is our sight and give us warmth. The Talaandig people know this, understand this. That's why we believe that we are one with the environment, with the nature. And of course, we are a custodian of the creation. We are just passers-by. And we will see to it that the next generation would have something. So that's why we need the people to know and understand what is life, and maybe let them ask themselves how much kilo of rice they need until they die. Because if we cannot determine our needs, then in the expense of the environment, destroying the environment because we want to have more, because we have so much insecurity, there would be a big problem. Of course, we need the people, all the people, to understand what is life, what is what is creation, and we wanted to be a custodian of the creation.
Indeed, those traditions carry generations of ecological knowledge. They show how healing, culture, and nature are deeply interconnected in indigenous life ways. Your explanation reminds us that plants and rituals both preserve memory and identity. Datu Waway, indigenous art carries lessons from nature. What important message about plants, forests, or the environment do you want people, especially those outside Mindanao, to learn from your artwork?
As I said in the beginning, that my works we let the people realize how beautiful is the earth, how colorful is the earth. And I teach the young people about beauty. Create beautiful things, beautiful flute, beautiful musical instrument,
Yeah.
beautiful paintings. Because I want the people to understand what is beauty. Because if people would understand that everything is beautiful, so they cannot afford to destroy it because it's beautiful. You cannot destroy the beautiful moment with your gunshots because it's so beautiful.
That is a profound teaching, Datu Waway. Your art becomes a gentle but powerful call for people to respect the forest and the life they hold. It centers indigenous wisdom as a guide for sustainable living. Finally, many young artists and students today are becoming more interested in nature and culture. What advice would you give them if they want to protect their heritage while also helping care for the environment?
This time, there is war between human and androids. Our children sleeps with their androids, wakes up with their androids in their hands. So if they don't realize that their enemy is in their hand, in their pockets, every moment in their lives. But we need to also to let them realize that those material things, the androids can help them to preserve the environment, the culture, by making maybe reels, no? Making reels that
Yeah.
would advocate for the respect of the environment or cultural appreciation, then uh, their life would become positive.
Thank you for that heartfelt message, Datu Waway. Your words empowered the next generation to honor their roots while caring for the planet. It is a reminder that creativity becomes stronger when grounded in culture and nature. Thank you for joining us today on Botanika Talks. May this conversation with Datu Saway reminds us that nature is not separate from culture. It is the foundation of it, the soil beneath our feet, the plants that surround us, and the mountains that shelter us all carry stories worth listening to, protecting, and passing on. This is Dr. Leslie Casaslubos. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep safeguarding the richness of our natural and cultural heritage for future generations. Only here on Botanika Talks.
I don't wanna end up singing my beautiful song under a last standing tree where the echoes don't belong. I don't wanna end up painting a last standing dead tree. I don't wanna dance beside a river that's dry and weary. But I hear the call of the soil, the heartbeat of the land. If I stand on the line, I'll take a lawful stand. I've got topsoil to protect, to keep our food alive. I'm here to nurture, to endure, to help humanity